Welcome to the deep dive.
Wow.
Today, we're going to cut through the jargon and get straight to the core of essential business vocabulary.
Sounds good.
We've got a rundown of terms that pop up everywhere. General concepts, finance, deals, marketing, and leadership, too.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission is pretty simple. Give you a practical understanding of what these words actually mean and why they matter in the business world.
Exactly. We're not just, reading definitions off a page.
Yeah.
We want you to really grasp the significance of these terms.
Yes, you can navigate business discussions, maybe understand the news a bit better.
Yeah, with more confidence.
Okay, let's dive into general business terms first. First up, entrepreneur. That's someone who starts and runs a business, basically.
Right.
Think of Steve Jobs, often called a visionary entrepreneur. What was it about him, do you think, that made him visionary?
Well, visionary entrepreneurs often have this knack for anticipating future market needs. They see possibilities where, others just don't.
They're not afraid to shake things up.
Exactly. They disrupt the status quo.
Okay. Next, startup. A new business, usually in its early stages. We see a lot of startups focusing on sustainable fashion these days. Why is sustainable such a big deal for new companies?
It really resonates, doesn't it, with a growing number of consumers who prioritize environmental and ethical responsibility.
So it helps them stand out.
Yeah, it can be a strong differentiator, attracting customers who share those values. But actually, scaling sustainable practices can bring its own set of challenges.
Right, it's not always easy. Then there's enterprise, basically any company or business organization. Governments often support small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, with funding. Why is that support so vital for the economy?
Oh, these smaller enterprises are huge engines for innovation and creating jobs. Government support can give them that crucial boost, the resources they need to grow and really contribute to the overall economic health.
Makes sense. Okay, moving to finance and investment. Investment, putting money into something hoping to make a profit later. Real estate is often mentioned as a long-term investment. What actually makes an investment long-term?
Generally, a long-term investment is something you plan to hold for several years, focusing on gradual growth rather than quick returns. Different things like real estate or stocks often have different typical timeframes for what counts as long-term.
Got it. Okay, revenue. That's the total income before expenses, like, say, $10 million annually. What's the really critical difference between revenue and profit?
That's key. Revenue is the total amount of cash flowing in from sales. Profit, on the other hand, is what's left after you subtract all the business's expenses from that revenue. It's the bottom line.
Right, the bottom line. And profit itself is that money left over. A company might increase its profit margin by, say, reducing production costs. How might they actually do that?
Well, companies can cut production costs in a few ways. Streamlining processes, maybe negotiating better deals with their suppliers.
Or using technology?
Exactly, using tech to automate tasks or just improve efficiency overall.
Okay, and finally in this section, market share. The percentage of an industry's sales a particular company controls. Apple, for instance, has a huge market share in smartphones. What does having a large market share imply?
It often signals strong brand loyalty,
Yeah.
and significant influence within that industry. They might affect pricing, market trends.
But it can be hard to keep.
Definitely. Maintaining a dominant share, especially in markets that change really fast like tech, can be quite difficult.
Let's talk negotiation and deals.
Yeah.
Negotiation, just discussing things to reach an agreement. Essential for closing deals, obviously. What makes a negotiation truly successful, though?
A successful negotiation ideally leads to an outcome where all parties feel their main interests were met, or at least addressed reasonably well. It's about finding solutions that work for everyone, not just one side winning.
Finding that middle ground.
Yeah.
Okay, bargaining power. The ability to influence the terms of a deal. You often hear large companies have more power with their suppliers. How does their size give them that edge?
Usually it's their purchasing volume. Buying in bulk gives them leverage to demand better prices, better terms.
Right.
And they might be such a big customer for the supplier that the supplier is just more willing to make concessions to keep their business. It's a power dynamic, but it's not always simple.
Understood. A contract? A legally binding agreement. We're only told, read the fine print. What are the real dangers if you don't do that?
Oh, overlooking the fine print can really bite you. Unexpected obligations, hidden fees, maybe just completely misunderstanding what you agreed to.
Leading to legal trouble.
Yeah, potentially quite costly legal issues down the road.
Oof. Okay, on to marketing and sales. Branding. Creating that unique image for a company. What's a company with really strong branding that comes to mind?
Maybe think about Coca-Cola. That distinctive logo, the whole image, it's instantly recognizable worldwide and brings up feelings of like tradition and refreshment.
Good example. Next, target market. The specific group a business is trying to reach, like young professionals aged 25-35. Why is defining this group so important?
Well, identifying your target market lets you focus your marketing efforts, your resources, on the people most likely to actually become customers. It makes your campaigns way more effective and cost efficient.
Makes sense. Customer retention. Keeping customers coming back. We hear loyalty programs help. What else works?
Oh, lots of things. Providing really exceptional customer service, building a community around your brand.
Personalizing things.
Yes, personalizing customer experiences and just consistently delivering value. Those are all crucial for keeping customers loyal.
Great. Last category, management and leadership. Stakeholders. These are the people or groups affected by a company's decisions. Employees, customers, investors. Why is it important to consider all of them?
Considering all stakeholders helps a company build a more sustainable, positive reputation in the long run. If you ignore a key group, it can lead to dissatisfaction, maybe even damage the business.
Right. You need everyone on board to some extent. Hierarchy, the structure of authority. We
Hmm.
sometimes hear a flat hierarchy allows for more open communication. What are the trade-offs between different structures?
Well, traditional hierarchies offer really clear lines of authority and decision making. You know who's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Flatter structures can definitely encourage more collaboration, faster communication, but they might sometimes lack that defined leadership when you need a quick, clear decision.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, deadline, the final date for getting something done. You mentioned it's key for client satisfaction. How does good deadline management actually contribute to overall success?
Meeting deadlines builds trust and reliability with your clients, simple as that. It also keeps projects on track internally, and it's just fundamental to the efficiency and ultimately the success of pretty much any business task.
Absolutely. So we've quickly covered quite a range of crucial business terms today. Hopefully this gives everyone a bit more of a solid foundation for understanding the language of business.
Yeah, understanding these foundational terms really empowers you. You can better analyze business news, understand company strategies, maybe even think more clearly about your own career or business ideas.
So maybe think about which of these terms feels most relevant to what you're currently focused on. And perhaps, what further questions do these basic definitions spark for you as you look at the world of business?